Yeah, push.
I can't remember. It's only the second time I've been here when they're here. Robin, if we don't, if we want to be muted, we hold it down? Okay.
The
We
push.
are now streaming. My light touch near it was enough to start it.
Okay. Gary
I
is not
have to
coming.
hit again.
Oh, okay. So it's just three of us?
Yeah, but it's fine.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna vote on anything.
Uh,
Then I don't have to be squished at the end.
Anyway,
No, you
man,
wanna sit, you wanna come sit here? Just bring your things, so I know.
I
where
have
Man,
so
what's
much
up with
stuff.
the-
I'll
what's
just stay
up with
here,
the
but I
uniform?
thought we were squished.
it's a
into
building inspector.
Yeah, you look very professional.
Some jurisdictions, they have building inspector uniform.
Very little. This is something I created myself. I felt
I like it.
something good to do, yeah.
You're walking
I
out.
want people to know who I am when I come knocking on the door, walking down the street and, you know,
I like it.
Yeah, why not?
yeah.
Okay.
I thought you were a cop somewhere.
Oh.
I was looking,
Nowhere near that. Word, right?
no, I was
He's
just
coming
trying to
for
make
you.
sure.
Yeah.
You know, if there is a, I wanna know if it's around.
How are you?
Huh? That's you?
Notes.
Yeah, I just read the letter today, so. Yeah,
To get this more than the day out. You think?
yeah. Is Jason coming?
I talked to him.
Oh,
That's why I. Oh, don't worry. I'm sort of prepared. So we got it covered. It's fine. She's not here on top of the applicant. She's an attorney. Oh, okay. Joe, is Jason coming?
As far as I know,
He is, right? Okay. So I'll give it
he
a
didn't
minute.
say, I think he would have told us if he
Yeah,
was.
I'll give it a couple minutes, so let's see.
We got here on time.
I know. I know. I'm just gonna give Jason Pangaro a couple minutes to get here, but yeah.
You were late, we were late once, they were,
So we'll just, it's fair, right? It's fair. We give everyone equal opportunity.
So this, I would think, Michelle, this would put it into the pre-existing non-conforming use category, right?
I don't have I didn't get to print the letter.
With the
I have it
variance,
on
yeah.
my phone.
I don't have a second one.
Okay, no,
Mine has notes on it.
huh?
You can read it. if you want.
I have it on.
But there's still the commercial.
was
you
actually
still
eating
need a
lunch
variance for the
in my
commercial on the first
car
floor.
because I wanted to leave my office. People were,
Because it's a because it was a cafe?
And they got- they- Yeah, the zoning board gave them the variance to go from the
boy.
commercial to the residential. They were compliant at the time, and then the zoning board gave them the variance to convert.
Okay. Okay.
I think if he has what I think he has, that changes some things.
Actually, this one is mine, this is the old one, this is the one that has that. Okay.
Okay.
I went ahead and put everything in order. The site plan is there also. Signed site plan.
Okay.
This one right there.
Oh, sorry. So are we now just being handed what we asked
Yeah,
for
yeah.
a month ago?
Right,
Okay.
exactly. Actually, we have. Not so much.
Oh.
It's confusing. I mean, it's just not. It just says
Okay, I'm gonna hand them each one.
Submit.
Maybe just pull them in some details too. It's, I think, it's an existing variance on the property. Proof of variance for the so there used to be a cafe in there.
Yeah.
And they switched it to becoming one-bedroom apartments. So they had a variance on the building that waived that. It was for commercial use.
So there was a little diner there
Okay.
in the front.
So they got a variance from the ZBA to do away with the diner and make it residential.
So they already did. They have 2 one-bedroom apartments.
Right, so, but still, I would think that the variance on new construction on the property for.
Right, I was gonna say, wouldn't that apply just to the
Yeah.
That's what I thought,
Yeah.
right, because now they want to expand the existing building, so, but I guess there was an existing variance, but we didn't know if there was, we had asked them to submit that, and we never. Okay, is everyone's here now? If everyone's here now, I want to get the meeting going, so, let me just, that's what I'll use. So, I would then call to order the April 19th, planning board meeting for Village of Cornwall and Hudson. I'm gonna start with the new business. Well, the new business is continuing business from, February's meeting. 5661 Firth Street LLC, 275 Hudson Street. I don't need to read what's on the agenda. I think what we'd like is just if you would like to speak to the project a little bit. I saw that you did make the changes on the interior dwelling to be just 1-bedroom apartments from the prior 1-bedroom with an office or 2 bedrooms. So now they're just 3 1-bedrooms. And then, but if you want to speak to anything else, that's the changes that have been made.
Yes, good evening. I'm Michelle Babcock from Jacobowitz and Gubitz, the project engineer, architect, and property owner here tonight. So we're happy to answer any questions that you may have. After the last meeting, a plan was submitted that addressed all of the comments that were raised by your consultants as well. So if there's any particular questions, we're happy to address those. But we are here this evening to request that this board refer the application to the zoning board of appeals for the necessary variances.
Well, I was just gonna address this. So I see that what has brought, Manny, I think you submitted this today. Is this the existing variance that was given back in 1985 on the property?
That is correct. I mean, McKay had that, he called me to bring the file just to confirm, but that was the variance that was approved back then.
Okay,
Right,
so,
I just received it from council tonight.
okay, so then the first question I have, because it's in my list of variances that you're gonna have to go to the ZBA for, is I understand that this variance was granted on the existing property, right? So, but if we're gonna do an expansion, new build on existing property, and I guess, Joe, I'm kind of looking to you at this too. This existing variance really just granted what's there currently, a
Yeah,
variance.
so
Now, if
according-
we're gonna build new building in that same, which this is a new building, we would need another variance for that new 2-story structure, correct?
Yes, you have to look at the variance. It is an existing variance. They only add in the connection between the 2 buildings.
Like a breezeway,
Right,
right?
the breezeway. So you should take a look, or refer that to the zoning board for them to take a look at that existing variance, that existing condition.
Right, because this is, I think what we talked about, an expansion of a pre-existing non-conforming use, but also an expansion of a pre-existing non-conforming structure, right?
Well, it's,
There are two
now it's
things?
conforming.
Yeah.
So now it's conforming because there's
It
a
is-
variance.
It is conforming because
Okay.
it has the variance.
But now this is a new construction on there, would need an additional variance for this new construction, correct?
I
Yes.
think they're gonna need a variance
Okay,
because the proposed structure does not have a proposed commercial unit on the
Correct.
first floor, unless I'm misunderstanding the plan.
no, okay. No, that's where I'm at too, so I just want to be clear that that's one of the ones we're moving forward with. We still need to get that variance for the first floor commercial. And I just wanted to be clear, you guys are
Well, the use
understanding
would
that.
be permitted based on the variance that the board granted back in 1985. But the applicant would need to obtain an area variance to allow that use to extend over into the other unit.
This is Joe.
Well, I think we need a use variance.
I hadn't seen that variance approval prior when I first submitted my report to you, and now this came to light that they did get an approval back in '85 after the zoning to eliminate the commercial part of the requirement, and they allowed all residential. So that was something that was done to the zoning board of approval to take it from conforming to what we would consider non-conforming, which really is conforming because it was approved.
Right, so I guess my question is then, since it was approved, does that approval carry forward to anything else you build on that?
Because under just
That's
the
what I'm
basis-
trying to figure out.
It does, any approval stays with the property for the life of the property
Right.
until there is a change, a general change in the property.
Okay.
They all making somewhat of a change, so that's something to just consider, but not that it needs an additional approval.
Right.
Right, Joe?
So Joe, I got a quick question for you.
Can we look at the plan? Are we adding a building?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we're adding the building,
It's an addition, sir,
An
not
addition.
not a new
Yeah.
building.
Oh,
Whoa,
it's a building.
well, actually,
It's up there, but
yeah, why don't
You
we
wanna
do
go
it?
up there?
Yeah, so they can, so everybody can see.
I'm not sure that I can figure it out.
third page.
Nonsense on it.
Which,
It's just easier without all that shit.
I know,
Page
where
three.
is it?
Page 3.
Is there a connection between the two buildings?
Yes.
Besides the physical attachment of the wall, can you travel, can you go from one building into the other building?
Not interior.
Right, so then it's a new building.
I don't know if you would consider that the same building.
Every unit though, sir, has a separate entrance and
If there's
no
a-
unit can travel.
Understood.
There's demising walls between roughly 8 units. They're not gonna be considered properties for 8 units.
I think to Jason's point is, it's not really, like, if you think about an addition to a building, you think about there's some sort of connection between the buildings whereby you enter one building from the other building. And this is like, you're sharing an exterior wall that I guess now becomes an interior, a shared wall, but it's really essentially a new building. I mean, and additions, like I add on to my family room, I add on to the store, and I can travel through.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interpretation, I guess, but,
Yes.
Regardless of that, though, a variance that's granted runs with the land.
That needs to be.
And so whether it's in one building, in an addition, whatever we want to call it, that variance applies to everything that's on that property.
But anything that,
So Joe,
that needs to be determined by the building inspector, if that's an addition or you have to make that determination.
Yeah, I mean, I can't make
That's
that,
his
I'm just
purview.
trying to be clear on what,
Okay, you wanna know?
okay.
Yeah, it is an addition because the building, you don't necessarily have to enter the building from within.
Okay.
Unless the building is designed that way. These particular two buildings are designed with separate entrance anyway.
Right.
So there's no interconnection within as it is now. So it's still putting in addition to one building and connecting to the other existing building in the rear via the breezeway. So it still is.
Well,
an
the back
addition,
building,
not-
it's connecting via a breezeway, the front building, it's just sharing a wall.
It's just sharing the wall with the
Okay.
addition. So I mean, as long as the building are connected to each other, they're attached, it makes it one building.
Guess it's like a wing.
Yeah, I got it, I'm just being clear. So we understand like what we're,
so Joe. So back in the day when this thing started, there was one front building. was a little diner in the front.
Okay.
So that diner was given a variance to build two one-bedroom apartments in the front.
Right.
Am I right? So they gave the variance change of use, right? From cafe to a residential.
Right.
So now that variance was for that action.
Well, yeah, I mean, the variance does run, the use variance would run, if what this says is that there was a commercial business on the first floor, this variance said, we'll give you a variance, you don't need to have commercial on the first floor anymore, you can have residential above and below. Then that variance runs with the land forever.
Okay.
That's why I asked if we had a new building. And Manny, it's your interpretation that it's one structure.
As long as it's attached, it becomes one structure.
I'm okay with that interpretation. I just want to remind, and I don't know if this is different with regards to a use and area variance, but Gold Farm, you had a variance to build that second lot when Mrs. Naughton explored that, she found that that variance was in fact expired. And in the village of Cornwall, the variances, I don't know if that was because that was an area variance and not a use variance, but that, she went and renewed that, and that was within the last year or so.
Was that because it was expired because it wasn't acted on?
It was right, it was a timeliness issue.
Okay.
That makes sense.
As far as we
Yeah,
know.
this time,
different.
yeah, no,
so that,
yeah, I remember that,
that issue
yeah.
doesn't apply here.
Okay, but we still have the issues of the front yard, side yard, total area, lot coverage, and parking.
So I was reading your letter, and the difference between 0.42 acres and 0.33 acres, the 70% lot coverage issue is based on 0.33 or 0.42?
I think it's based on 0.42, but I'm pretty sure 0.42 is correct, right?
That's correct.
Just wanted to make that clear because the tax rolls or tax records, whatever you wanna call it, tax card should be updated once
It
this
was updated in Orange County, they haven't trickled down, I guess, to the town, but I had it surveyed, I updated.
Okay.
So I think the 0.42 is what is certified to, so I think that is in fact correct.
I mean, really then, all we can do here is refer you over to the ZBA. I mean,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what we're here to
Yeah.
ask for, yes.
I
Did
mean,
we, now, what did we do about the parking in the front?
The parking remains in the front as it is. They need a variance for
the number of
the
spaces.
number of spaces. So,
I did have a question, about just the whole site plan itself. I mean, I don't know if I wanna get there yet, because, but I may as well, because it doesn't hurt to throw it out there. The whole area that's in the back where there's the wood fence and there's a frame shed, it's kind of that little triangle in the back. What's back there?
Open green space.
So it's just open green space. Because I guess like when we talk about the parking in the front, and we're not really there yet, because you have to get all these variances before I really get into like, do I love that big swath of concrete in the front of it? No. But if that whole space,
We try, if your thought is the parking back there,
I
that was our thought.
yeah, the only way you could do that is if you
It's just-
you would only be able to do 2 1-bedrooms, you'd have to squish your building
Tricky
into
to
the
get
parking
cars around
spaces.
Through that area, that was our issue.
Yeah. No, I know, it's only 15 foot there, so you can't really drive back there, but the way you could do it is if you put your building addition, but again, I'm not looking at where the doors are. on the existing back
If we move the
building.
building, if we move the addition off of the back building, is what your thoughts are? Again, what that will do is open up more variances that we'll need.
I didn't mean necessarily off the back, but instead of like where parking spots like 11 through 13 are, and then you only did 2 one-bedroom apartments, you know, so if you took the addition and went to it, so it's further from your side wall, your side yard. You only do fit 2, but I don't know, you have existing doorways and stuff, so I don't know whether it even fits there. But then, that's what I was thinking, then your parking can go all the way back and go in the back instead of being all in the front.
Even if
but-
the back looks like you could do parking there, but if you take the average size of a parking spot,
Yeah,
the clearance you'll need behind the parking spots in order to safely pull in, pull out, doesn't really work.
yeah, I don't know, I was just
We tried.
We
looking
tried,
at it.
believe me, tried,
yeah.
tried.
So how does this work? 18 parking spaces are required and 16 are proposed.
Yeah, they have to get a variance.
with
They need a
these
variance.
All right, so let's say you get a variance, so where do those 2 spots go?
They don't exist.
You have a variance.
So they'll park on the street, people who live there?
Yeah.
Potentially, yes.
Yeah, so they say, okay, we're gonna give you 16. 16's enough, the other cars end up on the street, and that's that.
Okay.
But I mean, we're not. They have to give the parking variance. We're not there yet, but I mean, I don't. The new plans also widened up that, originally I think you had 18 foot when you came in between those first 3 and 3 parking spaces, and now there's 24 feet there, so it's just like a whole bunch more pavement also. So were this to get the variance, like, we really need to think about, you know, what sort of landscaping actually mitigates looking at a bunch of concrete.
So once they get a variance, that's it, they don't come back to us?
No, then they come back to
No,
us,
they-
and then we
Go
do
back
site
to
plan.
For site
approval.
plan approval.
Okay.
But if they were not given the variance, the idea is that they don't spend so much time here.
Right.
uh,
Talking about this stuff I'm talking
Okay.
about, yeah.
Well, I mean, it's important that they know all the things that the board is working with, so that they
It
can
is falling together. So we can, I'll do whatever's reasonable to make this an attractive addition.
Well, I mean, a big reason I'm like concerned about what it's gonna look like is because it's not so beautiful right now. You know, it's got a bunch of like green stuff growing on your vinyl, like it hasn't been power washed, so there's no landscaping there now. So like, I believe that your intentions are good. I would like,
The
like,
property was power washed a year and a half ago,
Yeah.
and just with the trees and the green cutting
Yeah.
in the back.
no, I get it, I'm just
Before I
saying,
go
you know.
crazy on it, I'm probably re-siding the entire property if I get the addition.
Okay.
So,
So then I would just say at this point, right, I mean, before we do any further discussion about any of it, make a motion to move them over to the ZBA. Do I need to make a motion to do that?
Well, I'd like to be clear on exactly what,
I'll let you do the
Variance.
being,
I have-
you wanna go through all of them?
I think we should
Yes.
identify them for the applicant's behalf.
Absolutely.
If we're incorrect, they can let us know about the interpretation, and so they can seek the right and assuming obtain the right variances and not have to bounce back here.
Yeah, so Jason, do you wanna go through them? Is that probably the easiest thing to do? I know we,
talked about the use variance, which,
Right.
we've decided, or it's been determined that that is in place, and I guess Joe will verify. I just received this, so I don't know if he can verify that that's 100%, but let's assume that the use variance is okay, and they don't need any use variance, they need several area variances. There's the principal building to the shed dimension, which they've noted. There's a building length variance, which they've noted, but I think you may not need that, I think you may have calculated it incorrectly. I think it's the longest side of the building, not the total perimeter of the building. You have it identified as like 170 something feet, which doesn't sound.
it's not 170.
I think they're talking about the breaks every 40 feet.
No, there's a different one that's for the overall building length, it seems that you identified. I don't think that's necessary, but if your building is that long,
Something's not 170 feet.
there's the building offsets,
Yeah.
which comes into play. You'll either need to provide those or get a variance for those. I think the board would rather you provide those, which would mean that there's some relief in the building, which instead of somebody staring at a big blank wall, it may give some definition to the building. I understand every time you add a corner to a building, it increases the cost, but I think if you're really looking, for something that's a little more aesthetically appealing, that it would be a big benefit. There's the building offsets, which we know, a front yard, total side yard, lot area, which is an existing non-conforming condition, lot width, which is an existing non-conforming condition, lot coverage,
On the first page.
just to be clear on lot coverage in Cornwall is considered everything, that includes pavement, it's not just buildings.
I was told the exact opposite.
The code reads everything above
Yeah.
and below ground.
It's impervious, right?
The planning board is allowed to go up to 70%. I think you can meet that because you have that area behind, so it may not be an issue, but you should consider that if you need to shrink something 20 square feet, then just shrink it and don't bother with the variance. But be aware of that. My interpretation of the code, and this is just how I've read it in the past, is it says everything above and below grade. Obviously, below grade stuff is not really lot coverage, but I think what they're trying to do is extend it to everything that's at grade, which includes parking, pavement, etc.
Yeah.
The parking, which we discussed already, the 16 of 18. And then the lot area for dwelling units, those we've already identified. That's all I have.
I'm not good at math, so I'm counting on my fingers here. I wanna make sure. I think I'm up to 9, but I wanna go through it.
So it's 10 area.
10.
I think one is not necessary in. Two, you could probably go around, but I don't think he has with that lot coverage. But he had asked for it originally, I don't think it is. That can be waived by this board. And the CD loss up to 70%.
Is it up to 70?
You want me to mention them again?
Well, how about I read these off to you? There's the parking.
Yep.
We have the front yard. Total side yards. The lot area per dwelling unit.
Yep.
The principal building to the shed distance.
Yep.
The building length, potentially.
Yep.
The building offsets.
That's another one too, if you maxed to 60 foot, I think, or I don't remember what that number is, but you guys could check. You could maybe make the building slightly smaller and you would need to have that effect, I don't remember what that number, it's either 60 or 40.
I think it was 60 is what you said tonight. 60.
Every 40 feet, they want to jog 5 feet in.
That's the building offset one, right? Yeah.
Lot coverage. Lot width. And rear yard line.
Wait, did you just say lot width?
Lot width.
That's one.
That's an existing non-conformity.
So is that then one that goes? I mean, it's not another variance they need to get, is it? The lot width, if it's an existing.
I think that it still has to be mentioned because it is an existing
Okay,
condition.
I just want to be clear. So
You have to be included as an existing condition for that.
okay.
So I have 10.
I'm missing 2.
Which ones?
What was the last one, Joe?
Lot width?
Lot width.
There's also minimum lot area, which is different than lot coverage, which is also obviously existing, which runs similar to lot width.
I'm
I
missing.
would ask that there also be a provision included that would be for any and all variances that are needed.
the reference.
Well, that's fine, yeah, I understand that, but.
We wanna
let's-
just be
let's-
clear on what we're looking to
Try to
come
have
back
a
with.
roadmap, right?
Yeah. What did I miss?
It doesn't help anybody, if we miss one and you have to go back, that doesn't
Right,
happen.
I'm just saying,
Side
as through the
setbacks.
process, the building inspector raises an
Went too
issue.
fast for me.
Tile,
I
side
wanna be able
yard,
to address
lot
it
area,
while we're there.
dwelling unit,
So I now have 11.
per dwelling unit,
Did you see side setbacks?
Do you think you need
Principal.
more than 11?
No, I do
building
not.
to shed, building length, building offsets. I'm missing two. There was something about
I have parking, front yard, total side yard, lot area per dwelling unit, principal building to shed distance, building length, building offsets, lot width, minimum lot area. What two am I missing?
You're missing lot coverage.
Thank you.
Did you say
Photo
side
with the
yard?
2 stars.
Yeah.
Totals are good. So you got all the way
Yeah,
through
I got that.
building offsets, lot coverage, lot width, rear yard,
Or maybe rear
I
yard.
was missing
That's
the
what I'm
rear yard.
missing, rear yard, because it was one of the existing ones too. Okay. Thank you.
and minimum lot area.
Yeah, I have that one. Okay.
And anything else that the review may determine is necessary.
Okay.
And there's just this for a current variance. This is the only current variance we're aware of.
Not yet. Now?
Sure, yeah, so if you want to, I mean, unless you want to discuss anything else, I think that's
I don't
the
think we
referral.
Spend anybody else's time.
I mean, I don't,
Okay,
you prepared a memo too, but again, it's not worth discussing it for.
Right. And they've got the memo, so they know all your concerns, so they can be addressed also. And if, okay, they don't need to be addressed now.
Yeah, yeah.
They just
All
want to make
already
sure.
addressed.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Just to make sure that.
well.
So do I need to make a formal motion to send this to the ZBA?
You could make a motion to refer it.
Okay, so then I'd like to make a motion to refer this 275, 5661 First Street project. Oh, that's 51. Well,
5960.
275 Hudson Street project to the zoning board of appeals for the variances needed.
The 11 enumerated variances and any other variances that
You got that?
project may need.
Anyone want to second that?
Do we need public comment or not?
No, we don't need public comment at this point, right?
But not, I mean, it's not a public hearing.
no.
I mean,
Oh.
we don't usually take
Yeah.
public.
No,
Comment.
no,
Oh.
biz just asked.
We did that already.
Yeah, we're good.
Second
So-
that.
All right. Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay,
All right, good.
all right, so we're good.
We did receive from the county, their response.
Did we
See,
receive
that's
that?
why I have to keep showing up, so
What are you
What?
showing over
Yeah.
there?
Yeah, what do
What
you
is that,
have?
Manny? We don't have
Yeah.
that.
I don't have that either.
This is the response from the county, they.
You're like a magician. You're bringing stuff out one at a time.
I'm sure it was sent out, I don't know why you didn't get it. They just referred
Sorry.
to local determination.
Oh, okay.
So,
Okay, so it's
This
fine,
is-
okay.
Maybe we did get that
I didn't get it.
a while ago. Is it?
well, I'm gonna make a suggestion, and this has nothing to do with Manny, because this is really the first project. But I have made this comment before, because this has happened before. So whenever we have, you're in charge, but this is my suggestion.
Sure.
Whenever we have a new application, I think the board members and at least the professionals need a full copy of whatever's in that property. Because this has happened now 2 or 3 times where it's kind of this rolling in information. We get stuff every meeting, there's something a little different. So that would be my recommendation to the board and to the the building
Sure,
inspector.
yeah, we'll definitely look into that.
Okay, then,
Use variance meeting.
Thank you very much.
thank you.
Thank you.
And then
Two sets of minutes.
two sets of minutes. Did you guys get a chance to look
Yep.
at the two sets of minutes?
Yep.
Lee, Lee, are you okay with the minutes also, to vote on the minutes? Okay. You saw them, right? So then, oh, did you get, you should have,
I have.
I think everyone.
Engineers report.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
The way that we've looked at it in the past.
So the July 20th minutes. We didn't approve those the last time? I thought
No, you,
This is what,
for the-
J-A-L-E-L.
not only Maureen had seen them. So it's the
Oh, right, I
June
got that.
20th that got approved last time. And that was the one that Lee was the chair.
That should have been an email that, but I checked with,
Okay.
the secretary, she just sent it out.
Tuesday, and it's a Thursday.
Really? Oh, I'll look at that, okay.
We had it for this, but I think your suggestion,
Okay.
definitely we'll do it that way.
I wasn't here for the July 20th meeting, so
Neither was I.
It's a great meeting.
I'm sure.
Yeah,
So
Lee
we
was
have-
in charge.
That was one of the issues is that Wynn is no longer, there were only 3 people here and Wynn is no longer here, so.
I think that I spoke to Joe though, and we can just go ahead and approve them if, like, with all of us. Since so Kristen and I weren't at the July meeting, Wynn is no longer on the board, so just Lee and V's, but we can go ahead and approve
So
them, right?
you have no choice.
Right.
You know, the preference, of course, is to have anybody who voted at the meeting. When that is no longer possible, then you just accept the minutes as presented, just to have them finalized.
Okay, so then I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve the July 2021 meeting minutes. Do I have a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And the February 15th had one error that I noticed as soon as you guys received it.
And you corrected that, because that was just that you had the,
I had the wrong person opening the meeting.
right.
That's it.
Did you, Lee, did you see the February meeting minutes? I mean, I guess you're, the only thing I thought was that they were kind of a little, I felt like they were like lacking some of the detail of what we talked about. We had asked for them, to send us a narrative, and I don't think that was included in the minutes.
Oh, yeah, it was suggested that a narrative
Okay, it's in there? All right.
addressing the comments. It was top level. It was not details.
Okay, it was just, oh, I see it, sorry, I missed that one, I threw.
You want this over?
Yes, I did.
Okay, give it back to you.
There was, I mean, I think it hits all the highlights.
What is she talking about?
Where?
Who opened the meeting? Who the
No,
wrong?
originally she had Lee there still, and me as absent, so that's all.
Oh,
Oh, that's still wrong, though, you didn't
Oh, yeah.
correct that. Oh,
No, you
so,
were sent it, I sent you guys a note, but you never received the updated version.
okay.
oh, and this is not updated either, the ones that they left for us today.
Right.
Okay, so as long as that part that says the meeting was called to order by Lee Murphy gets changed to the, gets
Yeah,
changed
to
to
you.
me,
Mhm.
then I would motion to approve the February meeting minutes.
and
Aye.
I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, then I would now motion to adjourn the April meeting. Is there a
Can we
second?
close the camera?
We need to adjourn first.
We did.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Hold on, let me turn the camera.
Let me,
Wait, she's gonna just turn this off first.
Good night.
Good night, Lee.
Good to see you, Lee.
I heard you
Bye,
had a
Jackie.
nice birthday party. David Collins told me all about.